Good afternoon. I hope everybody's having a good day today. So, let me get the chat pulled up. I hope everybody's had a good week and is having a good weekend so far. I meant to do this live. Hey Trixie, I meant to do this live yesterday. I haven't been feeling well. I've been pretty sick these last couple of days, so the last live stream I did kind of took it out of me. So I feel better today. Hey Charlotte, hey BBs, hey Gigi. I feel a lot better today. I'm still kind of tired, but I want to talk about everything going on, and I think making myself do something kind of normal will help. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I have. I'm sick. I was getting tested regularly for COVID, and I got an extra test since I work with the community and haven't been to work, just in case I do have that. A lot of my symptoms aren't COVID-like. They're just sickness, headaches, fevers, super tired, that kind of stuff. But my throat hurt at one point, but it's gotten better. And I never got a cough or had any issues breathing, so I don't know what it is. Hey, Just Us. Hey, everybody coming in. So, hey, Christy, there's been so many things that have been going on. I am going to get ready for the day. My husband had to go do some things for work, so once he gets done working, I'm hoping to maybe just go drive around, get out of the house. I've kept myself in the house for the last couple of days, so I just want to drive around the town, not necessarily go in anywhere, but just to try and get back to normal. I don't have a fever anymore, so that's good. Charlotte, were you sick too? Is that what I'm seeing? Oh, you're not feeling well either. I'm so sorry. It's more been like a hit of fatigue than anything else. I have just been super, super tired. And I've had like a fever, which I typically don't get sick. So it's when I do get sick, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like a big baby. So yeah, Charlotte, that's how I was. I've been like that for the past couple of days. But anyways, I'm feeling better. I don't have a fever today. I'm trying to get back to some normalcy. Hey, Dottie. And I wanted to do this live stream yesterday. I really couldn't get myself up to do it. So we're going to do it today. There's been there's been quite a bit of like serious stuff going on the social medias. I'm sure you guys are aware of, I got tested, Gigi. I'm waiting for my results. I should get them today or tomorrow, I'm hoping. But I wanted to make sure I was somewhat in a solid headspace to talk about the more serious stuff going on. I'm sure you guys are aware of the Gabby DiMartino situation that's happened. I wanted to talk about that. I also kind of want to talk about, I'm sure you guys have seen, what happened with a Russian YouTuber and his girlfriend. I kind of wanted to talk about that. Not so much in like the sense that I typically, when I talk about commentary, I can get over the top at times and like really tell you guys what I think. I want to be able to do that, but these are serious issues, so I don't want to do it in like yeah, Dana, I don't want to talk about it in like an over the top with other dramas that are going on YouTube, because these two particular situations to me are not drama. I understand most people who have covered these stories that I have seen discuss these two things have done it very well from what I have observed. And, I'm glad that they have. A lot of people who are talking about these two situations happen to be commentary or drama channels. And I myself included, but a lot of what we do is we have passion to just make sure the general public, or at least I can speak maybe for myself in this, when I provide commentary, I typically am just trying to like provide all sides of a story for people to make their opinions. And then I allow you guys to know my opinion as well, but I don't try to ever force my opinion on you guys. And in these situations, like, there's serious repercussions that could come from both. And it's so scary that although larger outlets are talking about it, not to the extent I would think it would be. Like, both of these situations, I would think these large platforms where these things occurred would be making public statements about these behaviors. So yeah, there's a couple of people who seem to not, some know, some don't know what happened with the Russian guy. And since that's what's happening, I can't pronounce his full name, but he has a Twitch and he did have a YouTube channel called Reiflay, Reeflay. It no longer exists. So, hey guys, I'm sorry I'm not engaging in the chat while we talk about this stuff. I will come back and see what you guys are saying in your opinions once we get through it. Hey, Pink Flamingo. So what has happened is it's become known that this individual did have a YouTube channel. However, it seems that he was primarily streaming on Twitch and then it would upload to YouTube afterwards. And yeah, Dana, unfortunately, I fall under the same boat. So I became aware of this because I saw Sloan's live, his second live that he did. I did not catch the first live and I didn't even catch it live. I caught the replay and I read the title, and Sloan typically doesn't clickbait to that extent. If he ever does clickbait, he rarely really clickbaits from what I've observed from his content. And I love Sloan, you guys know that. So I saw his title and I was like, what happened? What on earth is going on? So I watched Sloan's video and he, talks about his mistakes initially putting out the story and then explains why this was going to be the video he uploaded about it and provided what happened. I was baffled. When I hear things, I don't typically like have an emotional response, but I did get an emotional response to this. Like, I got very anxious and I'm not an anxious person. And I just got super confused. I was like, what the, not that I thought Sloan was lying, but I was literally like, there is no way somebody actually did this. There is no possible way. So I let curiosity, unfortunately, get the best of me. Please do not do it for yourself. It seems a few people have, and I would advise, if you don't know about it, don't go looking for it. But I typed in the guy's name in the search and a whole bunch of videos popped up, and I was trying to get a better understanding of what had happened. And I was starting to watch just random videos and people's coverage of it. A lot of them were in Russian, so I don't speak Russian. A lot didn't have the subtitles, so I didn't know what was going on. So then I clicked on a video that was a shorter video, and I don't know why I watched it in its entirety. I honestly don't. But it was an unedited video clipping together the sequence of events without anything being blurred out. And it was so hard to watch. And I sat there and I bawled my eyes out watching it. It was absolutely terrible. This man's behavior during this whole thing is so freaking disgusting. The fact that he did this alone because he was donated something is crazy. Like, honestly, I don't like to use that term loosely, but something legitimately isn't right in this individual's mind for him to think it is okay to take money from his viewers and enact heinous things on his girlfriend who was pregnant. That just exacerbates it to me that she was pregnant and this happened. It is so disturbing. After I watched that video, I was kind of distraught and still in disbelief that something like this could happen. And I went to look for other creators' videos, and the only other creator at the time I came aware of this that had done a video was Tipster. And I watched Tipster. I am actually fairly new to Tipster and his content, and I have the utmost respect for this man and how he did that video and how he laid everything out. I don't know of his, I know people either seem to like or hate Tipster. I'm not here to talk about him or his content, except for this particular video he did was very well put together. He reads through an article where at one point it was the Sun that he reads through, and he reads the part where it translates what this gentleman was saying during parts of what was going on. And it doesn't help. In my opinion, it almost made it worse that it was translated. And he handled that, in my opinion, Tipster's video handled that really well. He let everybody know what was going on and told the story for what it is. And, you know, I appreciated that. I appreciated that he was sympathetic and empathetic in how he told the story, but he didn't allow it to consume him or to get too involved. In the video that I watched of Sloan that he had later re-uploaded was very much the same. He just said, this is what happened, and I appreciated that. I'm sure more people at this point in time have covered this story. I don't know. I haven't gone looking because I've seen it and it's disgusting. I am on the absolute side. I then went to Twitter and saw how Emily D. Baker tweeted out to YouTube and was asking like why they haven't made a statement. I haven't checked to see if they have at this point. I don't believe they have. But this is ridiculous because this is a literal crime that we see happen. People, including myself, have been subjected, which I understand. I'm an adult and I watched it. Witnessing something like that is so traumatic. Like that was, I know she was pregnant too, which makes it so much more difficult, I think, for people to grasp, myself included. But how many people were watching that live? That's what I want to know. How many people watch that live? And they're in a different country. It's not like if it had happened in the US where we could maybe locate the county or even the state and call the authorities to make sure something is done. This situation is so appalling, especially after this happens after the Gabby DiMartino thing. It's like these large platforms have some very serious criminal activity or what could be perceived as criminal activity occurring on their platforms, and they're not coming out and talking about it. And I think that's where the problem lies. Just because I know OnlyFans eventually have deplatformed after it became aware and people were talking about it and making a big deal about it, OnlyFans appeared to deactivate Gabby's OnlyFans. But what is YouTube going to do? They need to address the fact that a man had uploaded a video on their platform literally killing his girlfriend and his unborn child. Personally, you guys let me know. Personally, I think they should come out and address it. I don't think this should be something that is swept under the rug. I think they need to come out with a public statement about their feelings of this happening and what they're going to try to do to prevent it. Of course, there's nasty areas of YouTube everywhere. If you don't watch or don't look for it, you're not going to find it. But there is nasty sections all over the internet. We know there's dark web, there's nasty stuff that occurs on YouTube all the time. And Tipster made a good point that he was a smaller channel, so he was probably fostering a community who was interested in that. That's very obvious, since somebody tipped him $1,000 to put his girlfriend, who was in her underwear, who didn't seem to be very, like, she didn't have a lot of fat on her. Not that that would really matter because of the temperatures that they experience in Russia. Put her outside. And I don't know the time that she was out there or anything like that. All of that is irrelevant. But personally, I think YouTube should address it. I'm not sure if Twitch is a part of YouTube, or or a part of Google rather, or if it's its own standing platform. But I feel like they should be coming out with some statements. Has anybody seen Twitch is Amazon? Okay, thank you, Xylee. Well, I mean, these large corporations need to address the fact that this stuff is happening on their platforms, because it's gross and it's serious crime stuff. So, I mean, I don't know much else to say about that situation, other than it's absolutely disgusting. And I wish these larger platforms would, like the platforms owners themselves, would come out with public statements and address the shitty things being done on their platform. I mean, that's really where I stand. If you are interested in it, I will try to remember to go back and link Tipster's video and Sloane's video. Don't go looking for the original, or don't click on Russian ones because we don't know what they're saying, and it very well could be that clip, that the one I clicked on, was saying that they were going to show it. What I will say weird is in the one that I did watch, they blurred out this is so petty, but just because I found this very strange. In the video I watched, please don't go looking for it, but they didn't blur out her face or her body or anything after it was very evident that she was probably deceased. But they blurred out his butt crack whenever he was leaning over to check on her and stuff. They blurred that out, but they didn't blur her body out or her face or anything like that. It was very disturbing. I didn't understand why that was a part of the video, or why the person who uploaded it blurred that part out. It was really weird. Anyways, we can move on and talk about the Gabby stuff. I'm going to be honest, I don't follow Gabby. I don't even really know what kind of content she makes. So I don't know how she typically is at all. I only became aware of what she's in hot water for is the fact that it blew up on Twitter. And I follow Smokey Glow, and she's the one who I initially saw do it. And then, oh, are you guys asking questions about that? I'm sorry. I mean, he knew that she would, there's no way he didn't know that she was in the shot. Again, he speaks Russian, so I don't know what he was actually saying other than what was transcribed in The Sun. The article that The Sun put out that I saw Tipster read, where he addresses that she looks half dead, and then he comes back to the stream and is actually drinking alcohol and talking with his viewers, and then a little bit goes by from what it looks like, and he goes back, and then he finally calls the paramedics or law enforcement, whoever it is that shows up to the house. He moves the body to where it's even closer to view of the camera, and he does cover her with a towel, but you can still see her face in that bit. And even once the authorities or whoever it is arrive, he continues his stream. He did this because he was tipped $1,000 to put her out on the balcony. In Russia, it's like sub-zero temperatures right now. And the time frame that he's left out there, I don't know if anybody knows at this time. The people that I have seen talk about this don't say anywhere how long she was left out there. I think that's kind of null and void, seeing as what happened. He did get arrested. I guess it's something we're just going to have to follow, because it seems obviously that an investigation has to take place and things like that. So if updates become known, I will let you guys know, but that is what I know this far. And it's just a serious issue, as well as the Gabby stuff. So I felt to do a live stream where we talked about just the serious stuff going on. So I don't think I'm buffering. Is anybody else getting buffering? They basically, yeah, I have seen comments about that. Lynn says they basically loved a drunk drug-induced life and streamed it. It's sad YouTube let the prior abuse happen. Yeah, that's the thing. There is allegedly other streams where he has been abusive to her while receiving donations. Yeah, Pippi Longstockings. Tipster did talk about it. I will try to remember to link the video in the description of this after it loads. Gaming Granny, I have seen that commented on other stuff. It's just really scary that creators can fly under the radar. I think if he obviously was fostering a community that was okay with this kind of behavior and even encouraging this kind of behavior, the gentleman himself may be struggling with some things. It seems there's been allegations that he obviously was drinking during this stream. I've seen people say that they were doing drugs. I couldn't go looking for his content, because by the time I became aware of it, YouTube did delete his channel. I mean, what can they do, to be honest? Like, if they're flying under the radar and nobody's reporting it, like, what can YouTube really do except for react, rather than when you're a YouTuber, you already are, you know the rules that you're supposed to hold to, you know all of that stuff, and it's expected that you are kind of doing that. But there's going to be crappy things that fly under the radar. So at least YouTube did remove the channel and didn't leave it up or anything like that. I just hope that they follow through and provide some kind of like public statement about the situation. I don't know if there's much more YouTube can do to prevent things like this from happening. But that just goes to show, like, as viewers, if we come across content that is questionable, or you see things that maybe aren't right occurring, to not be so afraid to report it, because apparently this has been going on from what other people have said. So who knows if anybody had come across it and just wasn't sure if it was like a shtick or not, or if it was legit. Sometimes we see something we don't like and we just click out of it, rather than spending a couple more minutes to see if it's something to get the answers to, so to speak. So maybe moving forward, if I see content I don't like, I maybe will try to hang around a little bit longer, or check out other videos to be sure if it is something going on that is illegal or concerning, that I report it. You think everybody should get in trouble with it? Hey, John. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting if we get any updates about how this goes. Like, obviously, I think we'll be able to figure out if he gets convicted or anything like that, or what his repercussion for this is through Russia, like what they criminally do for what he has done. we can only just try to keep up with it. It's okay, Kim. Emily was so upset. It's really hard to talk about. And it's hard to talk about it in a way to like be sensitive. Like that's something that I started to think of is obviously something's going on with he was convicted to 15 years, Dark Lily says. Thank you for the update. So another thing is I've seen like when Sloan redid his video, he addressed the fact that his first video, he did things he wasn't proud of or that he wasn't thinking through. He just reacted out of emotion and showing the original clip. That's why he deleted it and did his new upload. So what about her family or his family? Like that's kind of where I started to like jump to. Like people who don't even know them are so upset and so like it enacts emotions out of you. What would her family think? Especially for the people who are, or the channels or whatever, who have re-uploaded the actual incident. That's super disrespectful, not only to the person who's deceased, but to her family. And then, like, what if they go looking for it? How terrible is that? I could not imagine that. Like, I'm somebody who doesn't know them at all. And I watched that so upset, like so upset. I had tears rolling down my face for the entirety. Partly, I mean, I shouldn't have gone looking for, I wasn't looking for this exact video. I was trying to find context, but I shouldn't have been going to look for context because I ended up seeing somebody pass away in front of my eyes, which is so terrible. Because as people who, or at least me, like I would think to, if she wasn't breathing or she appeared half dead, as it's quoted in the Sun article that he said, I would think to maybe right then call the authorities or the paramedics, however it works, to see if they could revive her, because there is a chance that maybe her life could have been saved, and the unborn child's life. I mean, who knows? Instead, that didn't happen. Really, Sassy and Hills. I did not know that. What do you mean, Mugsy Diva? Blue, unfortunately, in a lot of places, domestic violence isn't taken seriously. I mean, it's still something that is judged in the US, in different states. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that there's not a lot of advocacy and awareness brought around domestic violence for people who may be in those relationships who are surviving it. Without the resources and the information, you know, it's scary. What was presented as a prank? I don't know if I'm following what you mean was presented as a prank, but at the end of the day, somebody lost their life. Actually, 2 individuals lost their life. So if it started off as a prank and it ended up losing somebody, like somebody lost their life due to it, watching the clip, there was plenty of times for this man to intervene before anything happened. And if it was going to be a prank, I don't understand why leaving them out on the balcony would have been considered, because if it would have been a prank, in my opinion, it would have been, she would have come right back in, maybe from a different door or something. I don't know if I'm understanding what you mean or not. Yeah, Tiff, I agree. I mean, we can move on from talking about that. It is hard to talk about. I understand why other creators don't want to talk about it or aren't ready to talk about it, because it's a hard conversation to have with anybody. Like, this is something that happened in real time for people. And even people who have watched it back, it affects you for sure. So the other stuff that has been going on, not to say the two are similar by any means, that's not what I'm trying to say, but it is another issue that has been talked about this week, is the Gabby DiMartino stuff in her OnlyFans. So, Solo, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Gabby DiMartino. Like I said before, I don't watch her content. I know somebody kept trying to tag me and saying that they were a viewer of hers. If you're still here, if you could repost that, or I'll go up and look for it in just a second. I've not watched her content before. I didn't really know who she was. What brought me to become aware of this is people talking about it on Twitter. And then I started looking into it. She is a creator here on YouTube, and I know she has a sister who's I think does the same social media stuff, but she has an OnlyFans. I'm not knocking anybody who has OnlyFans. If you are self-confident and that's how you want to work, go for it. I will support you 100%. So this is no knock to sex work or anything like that. This is more along the lines of what she did. So I have an issue with it. I'm just going to say that right now. And the reason I have an issue with it is because the intention for me is there for her. You follow, she suffered a miscarriage a few months ago. You've noticed in the past few months her videos, she is becoming disassociated with reality, not defending her. I understand not defending her. I mean, you potentially are providing context to maybe why she wasn't in the right thought process. But this shows, to me, there's intent behind this. So if you don't know, what happened was Gabby DiMartino posted on her OnlyFans, and it was one of the things on OnlyFans where you follow her for free, but she will send out private messages and stuff like that to the people who are following her on OnlyFans. And then this was a particular one where she sent out a text or a notification to them that if they paid $3, they would open up a photo. We all kind of know OnlyFans is used for a multitude of things. However, it is primarily known to be a place for adult content, for nudity and like sexual content. And there's been other creators who have kind of caught themselves in hot water for using OnlyFans and not totally, wait 1 second. My husband just got home. Hey, Jake.
Yeah.
I'll be done in a little bit.
Are you on live?
Yeah.
Oh, hi everybody.
I don't know if you guys can hear him. He said hi. Sorry for that. I didn't know when he was going to come home today. So I mean, that could explain what some of her followers are saying. But what she did was she put this photo up, and it had a very clickbaity title to entice people to pay the $3. What happened is the photo was of her as a child, a young child, where she ends up saying she doesn't have panties on or something like that was the caption, and she flashes the camera jumping up and down, and she's nude underneath. So although this is behavior of a typical child, my problem, and what I think a lot of people's problem, is the fact that she put it behind a paywall, one, which whatever, you can do that as a content creator, but it was of you as a child being nude, and your clickbait title is where my personal issue lies. It's the title. And like, I watched Smokey Glow's video, and I really appreciated how she talked about it. It's at the end of the video. She talks about how if she had just posted this to her Instagram, because that was her defense and her apology, was that she was putting it out like it was a Finsta post. So people who are her friends on like Instagram. Which, okay, if she had done that and didn't provide this weird title and didn't provide this paywall there, I don't think there would be the backlash that she is getting. The backlash she's getting, in my opinion, is deserved, because not only did she post it, she thought about the fact of how much people needed to pay for it. She also thought about, oh, what is going to be the title to this to entice people to click on it? Which the title says something about me not wanting to put on my panties. That doesn't tell people that if they're on her page that she's a child when this is taken. There's nothing about her age mentioned, so people are going to assume it is current day or when she's an adult that this was taken. They're not going to assume this is when she was a child being silly. Inherently, do I think there's anything wrong with the video? No, I don't. The problem is the caption that she put on there, the fact that she thought about how much people should be paying for it, and then her apology really doesn't address the issue people have. Her apology is a litany of excuses, in my opinion, because people consider it to be child porn. And by definition, she is an infant, well, not an infant, but she is a child being exposed. And people are paying for it. And she had to have thought about the title. That's where the problem is for me, is the fact that she labeled it something so clickbaity and catch grabby to make people want to look at it, thinking it was her now. How do you think people who opened that up and paid for it saw her as a child? I'm sure they didn't want to see that. I'm sure that's not what they wanted to see for $3. Her apology was a typical YouTube apology. You guys let me know what you feel, how you feel about all of this. Not okay, but not illegal, so deplatforming is all that can be done. All right, Nikki, I appreciate you being here. I mean, I see people all over the place, and like there for a minute, Miss Woods says, legally our state has no way to actually prosecute it, though. That's the bigger issue, which I know and I agree with. And that's where I've had a couple of people ask me like what my opinion on it is. And I've said my opinion's all over the place. I used to work a job or a career. It wasn't even a job. It was a career where I was involved in stuff like this. I was involved in cases like this from a different standpoint, not a social media standpoint, but a parent standpoint, and child porn and it being exploited and things like that. So I know how hard it was, at least where I was at, to get any kind of criminal charge. And I know a lot of people are enticing that should happen. And I agree. What was done is absolutely disgusting. And I like how Smokey Glow says that she thinks she's dumb, because that's exactly where I feel. I feel she's dumb. It was a money grab. I don't think she intended to put out child porn, but that is definitely what it can be associated as. Working cases with dealing with child pornography, it takes the child being in a sexual manner for them to typically be able to press charges. That has been my experience with it. I know that's not what people want to hear. Do I think she should be penalized to some degree? Absolutely. But honestly, I don't think any criminal charges are going to come from it. Is it disgusting what she did? Do I think there was maybe some malice behind it because she wanted the money, is really what I can only think of. I don't know this person, but I'm not going to assume somebody is something they aren't. But the fact that she sat there, she thought about the title, she thought about how much she was going to charge people for, it's almost scam-like, in my opinion. And the fact that she was a child in this photo is the problem. For child to be actually charged with child porn in the state I'm from, where I did this work in, the child has to be in some kind of sexual position, or it has to be very obvious that the child is doing something sexual for it to be considered that. Is it inappropriate that she distributed it out when she's a child? It's more of the problem, again, for me, lies in the fact of what she titled it, that she thought to sit there and title it something like that, that she made people pay and thought about the amount of money they needed to pay for that. That's where my issue lies. I get where people feel that it is CP and how it could potentially fall under that definition, but from my experience working with law enforcement with situations like this, I don't think it's going to rise to that level. I know that's something a lot of people don't want to hear, and I understand that, but that's just from my professional experience. Oh, hang on, my computer just timed out, so I lost the chat. Sorry, guys. Let me go back up. Let's see. You hope people ask for a refund. I'm pretty sure people are. And if they're not, I mean, that's their prerogative. They have the choice to request that. But I'm sure people maybe saw it and were like super disappointed because my assumption is they thought it was going to be of a picture of her current day providing some nudity, and they're disappointed it wasn't. And I don't even think not everybody is going to, unless you're coming from a background to where you kind of know that this is inappropriate behavior. I don't necessarily, especially Smokey Glow, I'm sorry, I'm getting caught up on multiple thoughts are going through my head. Smokey Glow pointed out that although you are supposed to be of age to be on OnlyFans, we know people are lying. We know teenagers and kids lie to get on OnlyFans, to be a watcher. They do it for other social media platforms as well. So it's to be assumed that they're doing it on that website too. So they maybe won't even, if it is children or younger kids who are watching, they're not even really able to understand the implications of what she is doing and how it's inappropriate, right? And what we have to realize is if that's the case, they're not going to ask for a refund. So I don't know. I wanted to definitely talk about it, and I wanted to be able to get you guys' opinion and how you feel and what your thoughts are about these situations. It wasn't any nudity. There wasn't any nudity according to Emily. I haven't seen it, so I don't know if there's nudity. It seemed that the way I have heard it talked about is that she like flashed the camera. So, I mean, that could be considered nudity. But again, even if she is totally nude, her jumping up and down and making comments like that aren't sexual in nature. And I'm pretty sure, at least where I come from, it would have to be proven that there was stuff going on sexually within the photo or the video to have the criminal charges. Exactly. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm explaining. Blue says it was nudity, but it wasn't sexually explicit, which is kind of what I'm explaining. Like, if she isn't doing something sexual in the photo, you can't it's hard for law enforcement and the law to say that it is full on child porn. Is it inappropriate? Yeah, I mean, it is, but it's the context. It really is the context for me in this one, because if it was her just sharing a video with her family or her friends and not a social media platform of how she used to behave as a child, like a home video in her apology, like she likes to say, then I don't think it would have the backlash, because it just shows the intent there. There was intent there for her to me, it's almost scammy more than anything. Like, she said she was, the caption alludes to it being of underwear and stuff like that. People aren't going to assume it's from when she's a child. Sorry, Tiff Waffles, if I was missing your questions. Yeah, I couldn't imagine it. Have I ever heard of Fundy Fridays? No, I haven't. What is that? Her apology was not so good. That's the other issue. Like, she should just, in my opinion, from how I observe it, is she sat and she thought, I know I'm repeating myself, but this is where I have the issue, is the title and the thought. She had to sit there and think about what she was going to title it. She had to sit there and think about what amount of money she was going to request or have people pay to get access to this video. So that's the problem. She knew what the video was of, and then on top of that, like, it seems very scammy-like more than anything to me. And I think her apology was her just focusing on the fact that people were kind of claiming she was a criminal, or that she was participating in criminal activity. That's what saying she distributed child porn is. Like, you're accusing her of criminal activity. And I understand that that's scary to have people saying that about you and things like that. I think it would have been better if she had just been honest and said, I was trying to get money out of it. Like, I was trying to be clickbaity. Like, just be honest. Just say you were trying to clickbait your audience. You were trying to, because that's what it seems to me. That's where I honestly think her intention was. I think she wanted people to click on it. I think she wasn't thinking of the ramifications of it being her as a child and the potential blowback, which is where Smokey Glow kind of says she has to be dumb to not have thought that through. And that is a problem we have with having all of these people with large audiences looking up to these people who are children themselves or very young adults themselves who haven't had the life experiences. Okay, Justine, I will try to give her a look. I will tell you guys, I don't typically watch stuff that's like super religious. I'm just not into watching stuff like that. Hey, Amber. Distribution of CP is a crime, even if it's yourself. Absolutely. However, it boils down to it being CP. Like I said, this legally, from what my experience with law enforcement and child porn have been, this doesn't fit that definition. The photo, the video, from what people are describing it as, does not fall under being able to be labeled as that. I am feeling a little bit better, Jake's Baby Cakes. Thank you for asking. I'm still congested. I just don't have a fever anymore. I had a fever for like 3 days. It was not fun. Yeah, I will look at that channel and see. If they do other content, I will probably watch their other content rather than their religious content, just because I don't like to talk about religion. I don't like to watch anything about religion. There's too many politics and stuff that surrounds channels and those kind of topics that I just try to avoid. So I don't know if I know some of you guys have seen my dogs. I don't know if any of you guys have furry dogs like my husky, but she is shedding her to get ready for her winter coat. And it started earlier this week, and it has been a mess in my house. Like, I have her fur absolutely everywhere. I feel like I have to change my clothes every time I get ready to do anything because I look like a dog myself. I'm covered in so much fur. Granted, for CP, there needs to be more pictures and a trail of distribution. She did sell it, so the amount, I mean, if it ever, and I'm not saying it's not going to, I'm just providing from my experience. I haven't seen videos like, what I will say is I have seen way worse stuff in relation to children videos and children photos where law enforcement knew that this was probably an issue, and because it didn't reach the legal definition of CP, they couldn't actually do any arrest. So I really don't think she's going to get arrested for it. I understand, or charged with it, cited, whatever. I understand people's outrage and her wanting to get some kind of consequence, and I think she will. Like, her OnlyFans got taken away from her. She is getting criticism from the public, from her peers, which is warranted. Just because you come out with an apology, I'm gonna kind of side rail for a minute because I see this happening a lot when people when creators get into issues, they think that, oh, if I just put out an apology, people will stop talking about it, people will understand I'm sorry, and it won't be a topic of conversation anymore. That kind of like entitlement behavior, in my opinion, needs to stop. If you do something shitty or you do something that people can criticize, they have the right to criticize you. Just because you say you're sorry, whether you mean it or not, does not mean that you no longer can be talked about, or that it can no longer be a point of conversation. That kind of behavior is really starting to bother me when I see all of these. I mean, this has been ongoing. This isn't the first time this has happened. This is something that has been going on for a while, where, I mean, ever since the apology thing became a thing on YouTube, I feel like creators kind of fall back on it, and then once they put out their apology, it's like, oh, I've already said sorry, I'm not talking about it anymore, I'm not addressing it anymore, no one else should talk about it anymore, no one else should address it, and if they do, then they're just haters, or if they do, they're just trying to cause problems. I don't agree with that. Some people create YouTube channels later in the game, and it may be something that they wanted to address when they were a viewer, and now that they have a platform, they have the ability to address it to their community and provide their opinions or their commentary on it. Hey Sunshine Country, hey Maximum Effort. We wanted to adopt a husky a year ago, but we found the owner lied and that he was bred directly from a wolf crossed with a husky. He was aggressive. I don't blame you. Aggressive dogs are hard to break from their aggressive behaviors and tendencies. Huskies also are just super stubborn. I always tell people who say they want to get a husky, I have a sneeze coming, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I always tell people who tell me that they want a husky, do your research, because I love my husky currently. I did have two until not too long ago. I love my huskies. I love Paisley. She's the one we still have, but they are so stubborn. And they are more of an independent dog than I think people realize. And they need space. They need to be able to run. You always have dog hair on you. You have 3 dogs, 2 Chihuahuas, and a Yorkie Maltese. Yeah, I mean, Paisley's just blowing out her, it's called a blowout when they go through this. It happens about 2 to 3 times a year with any like double coated fur. Will go through this. So if you have like a German Shepherd or any thick coated dogs, even golden retrievers go through it to some degree. So she's currently going through that, but there is fur everywhere. My lab, who's short haired, he sheds constantly. Yeah, Tana Mojo is another creator who does very problematic things, I believe, as well. Jack Russell Terriers are always shedding. There's some dog breeds that will shed constantly. She doesn't shed all year. She just sheds about 2 or 3 times. She blows out her fur, and she started like 2 days ago, so it's getting bad. We've been brushing her out, but not all the fur's ready to release yet, so it's just an ongoing mess right now. The Husky videos on YouTube. She doesn't talk very often. So I hope you guys know I don't have the James Charles palette. I hope you guys weren't upset by us talking about some more serious things going on here on social media. It's not even all just with YouTube. Some of it's happening on other platforms, but I felt they were important things that we should talk about and just bring notice to. Not that, you know, I'm trying to make it a big deal, but they are things that I feel most people should be aware of, that there are parts of the community and things like that that aren't always happy. And I think the more people who are aware of these things happening or see these things happening, knowing that if you have a problem with it, like that's why there is a report button. If you don't think it's falling within YouTube terms of service, you can report it. That doesn't necessarily mean anything is going to happen, but you are at least letting the platform know that you have a problem with the content. That way, moving forward, if other people come across it and have issues with it, there may be repercussions done early on rather than after the fact. I'm glad some of you guys agree that it needed to be talked about. I don't typically do live streams where we talk about more serious content, but it was kind of asked the last time I was live, so. Hey, Angel Cake, I'm glad you made it. You wish YouTube would be more strict with rules such as Eugenia Cooney. Yeah, that's another serious, I mean, that's been ongoing for how long now? We were talking about fake apologies, Secret Donut. I'm surprised, and I'm not trying to, I'm surprised YouTube hasn't stepped in with Eugenia, because it has been just ongoing for so long. You know, if it was new behavior and there really wasn't this pattern of concern, you know, then maybe I wouldn't feel the same. But it's been going on for so long, and like we are witnessing this happen, you know, so it's like, and there are a lot of creators who have talked about it and tried to bring attention to it. And I'm sure at some points people have tried to bring these issues to YouTube themselves, and it just doesn't seem like anything comes of it. To me, that's more scary. The fact that there are so many people talking about it. Thank you. I appreciate you guys' compliments on enjoying my commentary. You know, as creators grow, it's part of the territory to deal with more criticism and people who maybe don't like you, which is fine. Like, I'm kind of a creator who I don't care. And if anything, I'm going to probably clap back at you in my comment section. Because I want to know, like, if you want to leave a crappy comment, I'm all for that. Like, go ahead and leave it. It's engagement, but I'm going to ask you, like, what your criticism actually is. So you might have legitimate criticism behind it, and I'd like to know, so you may not be the only one feeling that way. Yes, hey Britt, I loved your Q&A. I like the way that Britt did her Q&A because it wasn't like a very surface level Q&A like a lot of creators do. In the Q&A that Britt just did, she actually like provides additional information about herself and allows you guys as her viewers or as her subscribers to really see and know parts about her person that you wouldn't otherwise know. I feel a lot of people, when they do their Q&As, it's very surface level stuff, which is fine if that's what they want to do. But I appreciate the creators like Britt who are going to try and be like as open, as comfortable, and as possible with their audiences as they feel is okay, if that made sense. All about money for YouTube. I'm not sure what you mean, Gina Marie. Did I miss a different comment? You haven't made one of her lives yet, Jersey Joe. I don't think Britt's been live in almost a week now. I might be wrong. I think she's been pretty busy. I missed a comment here. The problem is the manual review system is outsourced to countries. Is it, Beauty Demon? The last one was Thanksgiving. I thought it had been a while. Well, let me know. I will try to be there for you. She was suspended once. Yeah, I knew she got suspended once, but it wasn't really... Was it because of the concerns or was it because of something else? I can't remember. You love your husky. They're so smart. Yeah, she is way too smart for her own good. She's a problem child, and she's an escape artist. And when she does get out, she's hard to catch, and she doesn't come to us. She goes to anybody but us. She goes into people's houses if their garage is open or their door is open. She'll go into other people's cars. She's all over the place. Was it because of the concerns, John? I knew it happened for a brief period of time. They need help and support from a professional. Yeah. I don't remember, John. That's why I'm asking. It's hard to keep track of everything and remember everything to the degree it was before. So I try my best. I don't think I knew that. Yes, you have a great weekend as well. Thank you for being here. I'm trying to look at my mirror that's over here. I can hear my husband running around chasing her right now to try and get her brushed out for today. We've been trying, since she started to blow out her fur, we've been trying to brush it out at least once a day to get the loose stuff out, but I can hear her running around trying to get away from him. We used to have a actual dryer, like a blow dryer for dogs. I don't know if I've ever talked about it. I know I've talked about the fact that I used to work in a dog store, like a pet store for 3 years. I have also bathed dogs before, like been a dog bather at a groomer. I did that a couple of times growing up. So I used to have a dog blower to blow her fur out, but when we moved it got broke, so I don't have it anymore. You think she's very problematic? There's a lot of things to Eugenia I've noticed lately that is that is also problematic. It's not just the visual issue that everybody sees. Like, there's parts, I'm not saying she's not a nice person, because she does come off very sweet, but I don't think she's as genuine as people think. I think there's more going on there than we realize. Not everybody who you see on YouTube is going to be genuine or authentic. And she is one of those creators who I don't really feel is very authentic. She's someone you just don't watch. I don't watch her content either. Temper tantrums all day. She doesn't, well, I'm not gonna say that. She does throw temper tantrums, but it's not a daily thing. She's a mess. You think she's fake? She throws a lot of shade. Like, I don't know if you guys are subscribers of Shane, or of Sloan, or have been watching him and his content coverage of her, and how there's been like this back and forth between her and Sloan. And it shows that, you know, if you were genuinely like that sweet and that friendly, you wouldn't be throwing shade and like subtle jabs all the time. I don't think you would. I would think if you were like for me, like if something happens like with that other username being so similar to mine, I'm just going to address it for what it is and move on. But she doesn't do that. She just kind of like pokes shade to where her subscribers know who she's talking about. I don't get that kind of behavior. You're over pets. I do too, Tiff Waffles. And from the coverage Sloan has done, like, I didn't realize she live streams for as long as she does. I have different kind of de-shedding brushes. I have a de-shedding rake, and I have a, what is it called? In my opinion, they work better than the Furminator. I've had the Furminator before, and it doesn't get as deep as the rakes do, so I don't use the Furminator. I have before. Yeah, I understand what you mean, Tiff, that you don't want to support somebody who is problematic. I think a lot of people fall under that category. Some people just watch to be informed. I have not, Jeffy. I've never used Zoom Groom. I've always just bathed my own dogs. Hey, Holly. I've always bathed them myself, so I like Sloan too. He seems pretty genuine and authentic. I mean, he always just addresses stuff for as it is. You can see his true emotions in his content. I enjoy that. All right, let me find a lip gloss, and then I'm probably gonna wrap it up since the husband got home not too long ago. You watch clips of hers on Reddit? Yeah, a lot of people do. Alrighty, guys, so I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. I do want to say, like, I appreciate everybody for being here. I appreciate people who have stayed. I know in the beginning when we were discussing some of these other things that I wasn't paying too much attention to your opinions, and it always means a lot whenever you guys stick around, even if I can't address you guys. I really appreciate that, and that we can have the conversation afterwards. It means a lot. I also want to thank you guys for allowing me and being supportive in me talking about some of these more serious issues that don't fall under the realm of drama. I wasn't really trying to provide too much commentary to those situations. I was more just trying to provide information. So I appreciate you guys allowing that to be a part of what I did today. If you enjoyed streams like this, let me know, and I will be open to continue talking about like serious topics happening on social media rather than just always talking about the petty drama that happens on this platform as well. With all that being said, I hope you guys are all going to have a good day, evening, night, wherever you are, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.